Yeah, it was a 54k month in July, which was pretty nuts. Yeah, I honestly could not have ever believed that would happen. When I look at where I started, not knowing if I even could make a video, and then 6 months later, now I'm doing it week in, week out for serious clients. You know, it makes me feel, I think, relieved really that I've actually proven that this does work and that I can do it.
What's happening, guys? Just got off the phone with Kathryn and you're about to hear a story from the past few months. She ended July staring down the barrel of a 54k pounds revenue month, which is bananas. And she's going to tell you all about how she did it in a sec. But what's interesting here, right, is we all know the industry's changed. The industry's become a lot more difficult on one side. If you're a videographer, agency owner, and you're just playing the wrong games. If you're a freelancer, director, DP, editor, or if you're in-house somewhere. The industry's changed loads, it's gotten so much more difficult for everybody. But then on the other half of it, a huge gap has appeared if you want to create your own micro agency, which is what Fork has helped so many people do over the past 4 years. And Kathryn decided to go from TV, she was a Sky Sports producer, got made redundant, again, perfect example of the state of the industry, and has decided to jump into that gap, and now she's thriving within 6 months, completely changed her life. So let's jump into it. This is Kathryn Lundy, absolute lovely human being, and amazing to see the progress she's made. So here's how she did it. Okay, so here we are with another Fork testimonial. First time in a while. Things have been busy in and outside of Fork, but we got Kathryn, and very pleased to chat to Kathryn today. So Kathryn, do you want to introduce yourself and take the floor for a sec?
Yeah, so I came to Reese at the start of this year, 2026. I was a producer for Sky Sports. I worked for them for nearly 20 years. I left Sky last summer and honestly didn't really know where I was going to go next. I knew I wanted to do something within production. I knew I wanted to make content in some capacity, but I knew I wanted to work for myself, but I had really no idea of how I would make any of that happen. So I spent a few months kind of trying to figure it all out. And then came across Reese towards the end of last year, I think, and kind of on a whim booked a call. And then when we jumped on the call and he started talking about video strategy and how it works, I just had this light bulb moment. I just was like, yeah, that's exactly it. That's the thing that's going to bring all my skills together. And yeah, I could see just from talking to you that was the direction I wanted to go in.
Definitely. So then I actually remember you emailed me cancelling the first call. You're like, oh, I don't think I'm going to do this because you clearly said in your, whatever it was, like confirmation page video or follow-up email, this isn't for beginners.
It was because I'm not a videographer. Well, I wasn't a videographer when I did this. I was a producer. And so when I first saw your ad, firstly, it spoke to me, but then when I booked the call and then I started reading through it and I thought, oh no, it says for experienced videographers. And I'm not a videographer. So I thought, well, maybe this isn't the right path for me. So then I cancelled the call with you. But then you emailed me back and said, no, you will be able to do this. You know, you've been making content for many years. So I thought, look, what have I got to lose? I might as well jump on the call and see what it's all about. So yeah, obviously glad I did because the results since then have been pretty amazing.
They have indeed. We'll jump into that now. So that brings me to my first question to fill out here. So beforehand, so for anyone watching, this is typically the Fork process, simplified, which we'll go through shortly. But beforehand, because people who come into Fork, right, we've got videographers, like local videographers, we've got agency owners, industry freelancers, or in-house folk. And when I said to you, like what you saw, there was no beginners. I don't work with beginners, but even if you're not a videographer, but you've got industry experience, they're transferable skills, which clearly you're a walking case study of that. So beforehand then, were you freelancing at Sky or were you in-house?
No, I was in-house.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So before you were in-house at Sky as a producer. And then now, what would you call yourself? Would you say micro agency?
Yeah, I mean, a micro agency of one. I'm still like I'm on the cusp of expanding, but I just haven't found the right people yet. Although I have been working with a few freelancers, so yeah, I would say very micro agency at the moment.
Yeah, and that's the next steps. Like you've been in for 6 months. Like after this now, and we'll probably chat about this later in the conversation. At the middle, what you're perfecting right now is your like your sales, your delivery, getting your marketing right, and getting that acquisition perfect. Like in the middle of the whole funnel, the whole process. But then once you've delegated the actual delivery and you find the right team to do that, because obviously you've got a skill set in certain things and there's other people who you can delegate things to because the cash flow's there to do it. We just crank the ad spend at the top and delegate more at the bottom. And then that's how, I know that's the direction you want to go in and take a little bit of a step back and then just, print money and chill out and sit in the settee all day.
Yeah, that's the plan.
Yeah, I know that's the sort of thing you want to do. You want to work less, earn more. I mean, who doesn't? But that is specifically what you want to do. So that's definitely the plan down the line. So then, what were you? Was it a decision to go into this, like build a micro agency? Was this a decision you had prior to seeing one of my ads?
No, I don't know if it was, to be honest. Before I saw one of your ads, I mean, I'd always toyed with the idea of having some sort of content agency, but honestly, I didn't know how realistic that was. I just didn't know where I would even start. I knew I wanted to make content, and I knew I enjoyed making content, and I just wanted to get into that. And I wanted to make content and get paid for it. And then I suppose once I saw your ad, it made me start to consider that actually I could make this into a serious thing and it could become an agency. But I don't think that it was a realistic thought for me before I saw your ad.
Yeah, and then we were just chatting before we pressed record, right? What do you think now have you realised about the world and what people need and what every business needs to be since you've actually, become this micro agency that produces content?
Yeah, well, I mean, everybody needs content, like in a massive way. Every single person that I've spoken to lately, certainly in a business and a work sense, and people I know that have started businesses, people who I know who are working for businesses, everybody has said to me, we know we need more content, or we know we need better content, or we know we need someone to do video, or do you know someone to do video? I just keep having this conversation all the time. I've never known there to be such a demand for it, and it's only getting bigger as as the world is changing. So yeah, I think it feels to me like, from worrying about where there would be an opportunity for me to make content and get paid for it 6 months ago, all of a sudden I'm seeing like the opportunities are literally limitless. Like, it is crazy how many people need content right now.
I was looking up at some stats yesterday. I can't quote them now. I can't remember them exactly, but they were overwhelmingly in the favour of every business now needs to be a media machine. And the obvious reason is I haven't got my phone with me. Pretend this is my phone, but everyone is just like that all day looking at a screen. People pick up their phone 100 times a day apparently on average. And one little go-to fact I've used loads in my own marketing is human beings now spend 25 years of their life looking at a screen, which is just fucking bananas. And every business needs to market themselves. The best way to do it is with video, but then the videos, it needs to be creative. Like, a monkey can run ads, a monkey can make content. It's not hard to do that. It's just making sure the actual content itself is creative, and that's the whole idea behind Fork. It's for creative people. It's not for like the bro marketers and people who just want to shoot videos for anybody in their local area. Like, it's for the creative people who want to make sure the ads actually work and their clients' advertising costs are really low because their work's so good. And I definitely think, obviously, the results you've got so far, you definitely fit that criteria. So what was it that actually made you decide to get the help you needed?
So I took redundancy from my job at Sky last year, August, and I knew I had enough to keep me going for about 12 months at a push. just probably a bit less, maybe about 10 months. So I knew that I needed to be making money by June this year, like, decent money. And I knew I needed to be making enough to pay, well, match my previous salary really by August this year. And I also knew that I couldn't do it by myself. I knew I needed a coach to help with the things that I didn't know how to do, but also keep me accountable. So I knew that I was looking for a coach of some sort. I didn't quite know what the business was going to be. When I saw you, everything kind of fell into place in terms of the video strategy part of it, and because I wanted something that would incorporate all the skills that I had, but also make the money that I needed it to make. So I kind of thought about it. I know we had the first call, and then I went away and thought about it. And at the time, I just wasn't sure about. It felt like a risk making a big payment for a course when I didn't know what the outcome would be, because I'd done lots of courses in the past. Honestly, spent thousands probably over the last 5 years or so on courses that just never really did what they said they would do and didn't really live up to the promises that they made. So it was I felt like I was taking a real risk, but I just couldn't. I kept sitting with it, and I kept thinking, what's the alternative here? Like, I've got a deadline, I have to make this work. And I knew that I was going to go all in. Like, I absolutely knew that I would put the effort in. I just needed to find the right person that would push me enough and help me keep myself on track, and also give me the kind of help me with the skills and things and the business knowledge that I didn't have. So it was a combination of that, really. I think you just know when something's right. I just knew instinctively after I'd spoken to you that I wanted to work with you. And yeah, I like everything that I thought I would get from the course when I signed up I have got and more. So yeah, it was 100% the best investment I've ever made.
Great. Well, it's like you said, you pushed yourself to do the work, so you had to make it work. And that makes my job so much easier as well. We've got to remember, I probably said this to you when we started, it's got to be 50% meet each other halfway. And that's exactly why we're sat here, because, I'm here for everyone who joins Fort. They invest in me, in my time, and in my efforts, and in me caring about them. Providing they meet me, you guys meet me halfway, and you really have. And you've just shown up, and you've got on with it, and you've done what you needed to do. And that's why we're sat here with, what is it in revenue? Is it 53k revenue month in July?
It was a 54k month in July, which was pretty nuts. So yeah, I honestly could not have ever believed that would happen way back in February. Even in February when we set my goals, and I set my goal was like 6k a month by August, and I remember you saying to me, you could get more than that. And I was thinking, no, I can't, absolutely no way. But I have, and I've smashed it. And I did it with a day to go. So 31st of July, I just signed my last client, and that's taken me to over 9 a month. So yeah.
Happy days.
Job done, I would say.
Job done. Yeah.
What's happening? Me again halfway through. If this is up your street, if you fancy the same, get a call booked in the description. Nice one.
And honestly, there's more out there. The thing is, we get so convinced day to day by our perspective is entirely determined by our surroundings. We're creatures of habit. We get conditioned by everything around us, and we think, the world is defined by what we see day to day. But actually, there's a trillion other things going on, and outside of our periphery, there's, like you said earlier, every business now needs to be a media machine. There's so many more clients out there who would be willing to talk to you, and then even if you closed just like 5% of those, even though you close a lot more, providing your sales process is what it needs to be and you just understand them, but there's so much more opportunities out there. So you could realistically be doing hundreds of thousands a month, and that's not, providing it's all managed, that's not unrealistic in terms of what's available out there. and just in what you've been doing day to day, you've managed to close, 53 or 54,000?
It was 54 last month. July was 54.
54,000 revenue month. So there's a lot more out there providing things moving the way we want it to move. So let's just come back to this. So your record revenue month, let's just jump ahead here. Where are we? Is so far, so July 2026 is 54k, and monthly recurring revenue now is, if we round it up to the nearest thousand, is it 10?
It's 9.50.
9, okay, 9, just round up to the nearest 5, 9.5k recurring revenue. Lovely. And then we'll set some goals at the end after this. And then your monthly income with this entering forth with the agency, I'm assuming, was 0. Yeah. So gone from 0 to 10k a month, more or less. And then what are you offering people? So what is your offer? Like, and I know this is something that it gets developed more and more for everybody. The more you deliver it, more you understand what works, what you enjoy, what your clients enjoy, mainly what works though. So what are you offering right now in your packages?
Yeah, so my core offer is social first video content, and it tends to be between 8 and 12 reels a month. But I'm also doing a bit of social media management with that as well. So not full scale management, but just post. A lot of my clients want posting and captions as well. So I use that generally do that as an upsell. But I would say the core offer is most of my clients are on either 8 or 12 social media videos every month. And then
Nice.
also I have done a couple of brand films as well.
Yeah, and then in terms of, we'll get to that in a sec on about results, but it says a lot, right? And I think it says a lot about you and the people in Ford, because you're not the only one who looks at ads as secondary. When you can prove your creativity works and is proven value without the traffic, the obvious traffic that ads create, it goes to show how good you are at being a creative. You're not just making any old content and testing loads of hooks in ads and stuff and just doing that for the sake of following a formula, a copy and paste formula. You are creative at the core. You understand the brand, you understand their audience, and you understand how to move that audience through a buyer's journey, through content. And when you can do it just through content and then supplement it with ads afterwards, which is, you're not the only person who does that. There's quite a few people in Ford who do that. It goes to show how good you are at your job, because then when paid advertising brings a lot of footfall in, it's curtains, like, you know what I mean? There's just going to be, there's mental amounts of results for the client. So right now then, let's fill this out. So what was it again? How shall I summarize
I would
this?
say social first video content.
Social first video content, and then your standard package is how much?
I would say between 8 and 12 reels per month.
8 to 12 reels, and then how much does that cost on average? I know your packages are slightly different.
Yeah, I would say so. 12 reels is generally 3,250.
3,250 per month, and I know that's going to sound like not much to some people and huge to other people, and it just goes to show what's available out there, because when you position yourself and you're marketed in a certain way, which gives you authority, then people who can afford this and more will jump at the opportunity to work with you.
I think the kind of what differentiates it there is the strategy work, though, because I go into a lot of depth and detail on the strategy. So obviously, as well as the onboarding, I also do monthly strategy calls with the clients, and the strategy really heavily defines what content we make month on month. So I'd say that's where a lot of the value for my clients comes.
Honestly, that is such a big part of what I have always taught is strategy. Like, and I think, would you say that's something you got from the program and the strategy side of things?
Yeah, 100%. 100%. I had no idea what a strategy was until I started working with you. So yeah, I've gone from 0 to 100 in terms of, and now everything I do has strategy behind it. And I would say that actually that is the part of my process that the clients that love the most. I've had so much amazing feedback about the strategy. So that's, I would say, almost kind of my USP right now is the strategy side of it, and how much depth we go into.
Yeah, and it's necessary. Like when if you're in a room with a lot of, for a brand campaign, for a huge brand, like say for Nike or Ralph Lauren or whatever, like I've been in those rooms and seen the amount of strategy that goes into it and know what the strategy actually is. And then when you can apply that to your clients and you can rip them apart and understand why they do what they do and why people are going to want to buy from them in the first place, then translate that into creativity and creative video. That is the fun part, and that is what a lot of people who just got a camera and know how to edit a video miss. But that's the real creative part. That's where you be actually being creative truly. And like you said, you can charge a lot for it. And I tell all you guys, you do not onboard anyone for less than £1,500. And what is your onboarding fee at the moment?
It is £1,500, yeah.
Yeah.
I could probably charge more for it, but I haven't raised that yet.
Do you feel you could charge more for it, given you've now charged that a few times?
Yeah, I would. I think it would depend on the client and what I suspect their budget might be, but yeah, I definitely would consider raising that potentially.
So what is your situation like now then? Like what wins and milestones are you celebrating right now?
So I suppose a win is that I'm fully booked out. Like I don't even have capacity to take on anyone else right now, which is amazing. But
as one person.
Yeah, as one person.
We'll change that as we go. Yeah.
So that's where I'm at right now. But yeah, mindset wise, I think it's about trying to. Now I know I need to expand, so I'm like on the cusp of. I need to start building, but I've had the mindset win of knowing that I can do this all myself, and actually being able to deliver the content as well. Because for me, that was a blocker for quite a while. Was that I know I can get a client, but can I deliver the work that they're paying me to deliver? So now I know I can do that, and now I can do that with 4 clients. But I'm at the point now where I know that in order to expand, I need to outsource. And so my next kind of mindset blocker is, how do I do that? Because when you've been doing it all yourself for however long, I am a bit of a control freak. I know how I like things to be done. And I know that my clients have a certain style that they want. And a certain workflow that we've built as well over the last few months, because it's taken me a little while to find a workflow that works for me and my clients. So now I'm starting to get that down. Yeah, I just need to I need to find people who can see the same vision as me and understand that vision for my clients. And I've kind of dipped my toe in the water a little bit, but I haven't found anyone really that I could trust. Well, I have found people that I could trust, but I don't think it's a big investment for me right now still to be able to find, ideally what I want is a videographer to do at least 2 shoots for me a month and edit all the content. And so for me, it's just kind of like a mental block in terms of finances. Like, can I afford to spend that every month and still make it worthwhile? So yeah, that's what I need to do. That's what I need to do next. Like, figure out how to scale, basically.
Yeah, those are the next steps, and we'll be all good with those. Like, honestly, trust me. Like, once you get there, things actually get a bit easier because once you've obviously got to find the right people you can trust. But things you have more of a bird's eye view on the business day to day, and it's always more healthy, I find, having a 30,000 foot view on the business. You have to think like that more often, as opposed to being in the business, stressing out about the little things, and allowing those little things to overtake your whole mindset and your perspective and your vision on things, and then your decision making. So when you can zoom out and look at it from a bird's eye view, which you have to do when you're, somebody in that position, you make better decisions. And I'm looking forward to entering that phase with you as well. But that's our next testimonial in another 6 months' time.
Yes.
To when you've got a 6-figure month.
Yes.
So just rewinding a sec. So what was the deciding factor that made you want to work with me?
It was, well, there was a few things really. Firstly is you actually believed in me before I believed in myself, and it was genuine. Like, I knew you weren't just saying it to make a sale. I really felt that you saw potential in me that I couldn't yet see in myself, and I needed that at that time. I needed someone to say, like, you've got this, you've had an amazing career and you can do great things with it. And that was really kind of crucial, I think, at the start. But also I knew you knew what you were talking about. Everything you said to me just made sense. And I totally trusted that you would really back me up and give me that support that I knew I needed to make it work. You never once guaranteed me results, but I felt that I was going to get results anyway, if I just trusted the process and trusted you. So yeah, for me, it was a combination of that really that made me make that decision.
Great. And I'm really glad you've made that mindset shift and realizing that you can do this. And I think that's just here on the mindset part of this document. Just knowing you can do this sounds a bit cliche and obvious, but that mindset is everything. And the same goes for anyone, even if somebody's just making videos, like pretty videos, and they haven't got this career as a producer for Sky Sports. If you can understand, if you're a creative, it's a creative. It doesn't matter if you can use a camera or use an editing program. If you've got that creative brain, and that can be anybody, you can do this because there's such a huge demand for this in the world because of the reasons I said earlier. Everyone's staring at their screens, people just consuming mental amounts of content, every business needing to be a media machine. Regardless of the conversations you've had with shit clients that might not need it or might undercharge, there's those out there. But there's such a demand for it. If you've got a creative brain, and you certainly have, and a skill set on top of it, you can make this work, and you can do very well as you now are, like financially, and it's only going to get better. So, that's great. That's great to hear. And I think just to jump back to this year, so we got the forward flow process, and obviously you've travelled through this, and you've gone through your chosen fourth operating system, which is Instagram. You obviously run your ad, you aligned with the right people, took them over the line, got the yes, you onboarded them. So, we touched upon that briefly. What's your onboarding process like? I mean, you don't have to go into depth. I know you mentioned strategy, but how would you summarize it?
Yeah, so I would say it's definitely the most labor intensive part of the process apart from editing content, but I generally always have a discovery call with a client. Some of those haven't been necessary on Zoom, some of them have just been quick phone calls, but I have always had a discovery process. And actually what I like to do, if I'm able to, is go and visit the client in person, because I really like to get a sense of where they work, what their space looks like, who they are as a person, their character, their personality, their environment, and all that kind of stuff. And also gives me an idea of what content we can film as well. So I've tended to go and see them in person where I can, and we will sit down and we will do a workshop, basically a strategy workshop. So quite often it will be about 2 hours. It has been up to 4 hours for some clients, but I find that actually I end up coming away with a really, really clear idea about who they are, what the business is, what kind of stuff they need. They get to know me as well. They get to get a sense of how I work. And the feedback I've had from every single strategy workshop that I've done has been like amazing. Everybody has said, and even in the testimonials that I've had, everyone said that a strategy workshop was one of the best parts of the stuff that we've done together. So it's time consuming, and it does take a long time to pull the strategy document together afterwards, but it is 100% worth it. It makes everything else much easier from that point.
Do you know what? I'm gonna give you that line I give on nearly every week in our calls. You can't read the label from inside the jar, right? And a lot of brands, that's a known saying in the branding world. And to have an external person come in and look at the brand from the outside in, looking inside, that is, in my opinion, one of the most essential investments that a business can make, because for their marketing. Because once they do that and they can see objectively what their business looks like, not just their opinion on it, to give that information back to them and then to translate that information creatively into content is everything. And without this strong onboarding, with a strong brand strategy, like a proven professional high level onboarding process, you can't make the right creative. When you deploy it, it's not going to make a change. But in your case, it has. And I know you've gathered a testimonial / case study. And how did that go? You know, how happy was your client when you did that?
Yeah, he was really happy. He loved the strategy work, and that actually led us to create. I mean, we had insane results for him in the first 3 weeks of launching the video strategy. He had 300 followers on Instagram, and his posts were getting like 50 to 100 views. And within 3 weeks, we had 2 viral videos. One of them did nearly 500,000. One of them did 150,000. His followers went up to like 5,000. I think they're nearly 6,000 now in just over 4 or 5 weeks that we've been working together. And he's had the views to his platform have gone from, they were on 30,000. So his platform's been running for 3 years. And when we started working together, he'd had 30,000 views, website views. And in the last 4 weeks, that's gone up by another 40,000. So he's had more in the last 4 weeks than he's had in the last 3 years. And that has all come from doing the strategy work. You know, some of those videos, the viral ones, weren't even polished videos. They were actually videos that he shot himself, that I just put, you know, various things over and hooks and wrote captions and stuff. But it was all about the message. That's why they landed, because we worked really hard on the messaging. And he is seeing that in action now, directly as a result of the strategy work.
And that is the perfect case study for just strategy in itself. And is that any paid advertising, or is that just organic?
No, nothing. Not done any paid ads yet.
Now imagine what happens when you increase that traffic and you put some money behind it. You know what I mean? Like, that is what a true creative can do. Like, instead of just going in and running ads for him, like, we're doing a little bit of strategy, running ads. This is the thing, right? Is like, people think these days, run ads. It's a simple solution to sometimes a complex problem. And without the right creative work that a creative has to do, and I know I keep saying this, it goes to show how much difference you can make to a business just from your strategy, your creativity, and your organic content deployment. Then add in lots of traffic and opening the floodgates once the messaging's right and you know that all this is right. It is game over, and it goes to show the difference you've made just from organic. That is, there's a perfect bit of proof for how important an actual creative is, not just, any old videographer living in a random town making random content for random people nearby, and just running ads for them and content, which can work. Don't get me wrong, it can really work. It can really help businesses, but nothing in comparison to what an actual creative can do. Now that you've gone through the full fourth flow process, you've been in the fourth flow state going through this process for a couple of clients, how do you feel now? You've gathered that case study. You've seen the difference that you've made in someone else's business through your creativity. How does that make you feel?
So I was thinking about this actually today, because when I think about where I was 6 months ago, it is like night and day. I think, as you grow and get bigger, you think you're going to have a moment where you think, oh, I know how to do it. Everything feels so much easier. Actually, that's not how I feel. I feel like there's still so many challenges. But I think when I look at where I started, not knowing if I even could make a video, and then 6 months later, now I'm doing it week in, week out for serious clients, it feels like, it makes me feel, I think, relieved, really, that I've actually proven that this does work and that I can do it. But it's just like that peace of mind and knowing that I have a method that works, that, even if I lost a client tomorrow, I know I can just go out and get another one because I know how to do it. And it's just, it's having that peace of mind and that security of knowing that actually I've built something foundational here. It's not just something to tide me over. It's not something just to make money. It is the foundations of a sustainable, strong business that I know is only going to get bigger and evolve, over the next 6 to 12 months and, and further on from that. So yeah, I'd say like relief, but also and pride, I feel really proud of myself for having done what I've done. So, it's an awesome feeling. I haven't stopped to really think about it enough, but, I should. And I think given where I was 6 months ago, it is pretty insane how far I've come in that time. So yeah, it's pretty awesome, I have to say.
Honestly, give yourself that time to stop and smell the roses, because it is important. We're doing this so our lives are better, and obviously for fulfillment, for our potential, but to make better lives for ourselves. And obviously, I know you're a mother as well, so you're doing it for those reasons. So it's important to take the time and just be proud of yourself. I know you said you're trying to take a holiday this month. Try and really reflect, and because you've worked so hard, honestly you have, and look at the results. So you get to eat the fruits of your labour now, and that's why we sat here on this conversation. So well done, honestly, a huge well done, and I just fills me with joy hearing you say that. It's just awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't have done it without you, honestly. As I said before, it was the best decision I made, and I will stand by that. If anyone else was thinking, I'm sure there's going to be your question to me next, but if anyone else was thinking about this, then I would not hesitate at all. You've got to do the work, but it's so worth it, for sure.
Great. That was my next question, but we've wrapped it up there. So happy days. Thank you, Kathryn. I know
No
we're going
worries.
to have a little chat after this. Outside of the testimonial, I'll have a little coaching chat, but thank you very much for your time this morning. And we'll have another one of these in 6 months' time and see where we're at. Amazing.
Look forward to it.
There we go. That's Kathryn and what she's been up to the past 6 months, and really looking forward to seeing what she gets in the next 6 months. It's just been an absolute pleasure to work with her. So listen, the industry's in a state, as I said at the start of the video, and if you resonate with that, if you felt it because of what's going on, and you want to make a change, if this is the direction you want to go and you want to make the most of all the opportunities out there now, for all the businesses everywhere that need strategic content from a creative brain, not just a bro marketer, not just a shitty marketing agency they found on Instagram, from a creative who's marketing them properly, and you want to just thrive in this new landscape we're all in, and you need help doing it, get a call booked in below in the description, and I'd love to chat with you. I love speaking with other creatives. I'm a creative myself, lifelong creative. Got a full fucking portfolio to show it, and those are the sort of people I want to attract, and those are the sort of people I want to work with, is other creatives. Whether you're a videographer, you're an agency owner, you're an editor, director, DP, doesn't matter. There's opportunities there for you to create something small and highly profitable. So yeah, if that's you, get a call booked in and speak to you soon.